Figma, Nendoroid. Figma, Nendoroid. Figma, Nendoroid. Figma, Nendoroid. Is this driving you crazy? Well, we're going to compare Figmas and Nendoroids, so stay tuned. What's up guys, welcome to Rayven's Playroom, a chill place where you can get toy and gaming videos, so if you love toys and games, consider subscribing. Today we're featuring Blackrock shooter series for Nendoroids and Figmas to see the key points that one should consider for their collection. Let's talk about the size and forms of both Nendoroids and Figmas first. For Figma, it tries to be as faithful as possible to the original compared to a Nendoroid, which is more of a deformed, cuter or chibi version. Take a second to compare the anime and the figure counterparts. Obviously, the Figma is much more accurate than that of the Nendoroid. On top of that, the size of the Nendoroid is smaller than that of a Figma. This Blackrock shooter Figma is around 14 centimeters tall compared to the Nendoroid, which is only 10 centimeters. The biggest difference in between the two is that the head is bigger than the body on a Nendoroid, and for Figma, it is the opposite. Moving on to articulation, the beauty of having a Nendoroid or a Figma is that it comes with accessories, miniature weapons, heads, swappable parts which allows you to pose your collectible any way you'd like to. Let's talk about things that really matter in articulation though. How difficult is it to pose a Figma compared to a Nendoroid? As a generalization, the difficulty is dependent on model that you are posing. Both of them have good and bad points. For the bad side example, the connecting parts of a Figma are thinner. Sometimes it cannot bear the weight of the accessory you are trying to connect it to. Just look at the hands of strength in comparison to the body. It's almost the same size and most of the arms cannot support the hands. At times this can be extremely frustrating for beginner collectors. And for Nendoroids, it's the same issue. The hands are too big again, but at least the connecting part, which is the arm, is a lot shorter, and that makes it easier to connect both of them. Another example is the shield of Chariot. It's just exceedingly heavy for her to support. What's good about Figmas though is you have more space to move around in terms of angles. One of the things that is important to consider when collecting is the collectibility of a figure. With the Blackrock shooter series, what's good is that most of the other cells or the main characters in the series, you can see Strength, Chariot, Deadmaster, Goldso, and Blackrock shooter. But let's take a look at the lineup for 7 Deadly Sins. The only Nendoroid available on the shop is King, who is one person out of the 7 Deadly Sins. Personally, I wanted to collect the 7 of them, but since they have not released anyone else except King, I have not even purchased King anymore. Another good example is My Hero Academia Nendoroid series and Figma series. Let's take a look at what's available at the shop. There are 12 characters available in the Nendoroid series compared to Figma, which only has 5 characters. For some, this is really a deal breaker because they want to have everyone on the collection. Although I also have met collectors who only want 1 character per series, which is totally fine as well. Let's get to the biggest deciding factor: price. A couple of years ago, one Figma cost almost the same as a Nendoroid, not big of a difference like my Blackrock shooter series. Strength Nendoroid and Figma costs only around 3,000 yen, but nowadays Figmas are becoming a lot more expensive. For example, Ochako Nendoroid is only 4,545 yen, compared to a Figma which is 7,500 yen both before taxes. That's almost double the price, and to me that really matters. I can buy 2 Nendoroids with the price of 1 Figma. And now comes the big decision, is it a Figma or Nendoroid? Honestly, right now, I'd be more of a Nendoroid person than a Figma one, although don't get me wrong, I like both series. They are just 2 different figures with a mix of the good and the bad. Figmas are just too expensive now, I think. Maybe one day I'll continue collecting them again. Let's take a look at the figures side by side. So Blackrock shooter, it's really a good series. Until now, I think they are still releasing new figures for the Blackrock shooter. And that's it for today guys. I hope I was able to help you out make a decision about Figmas or Nendoroids. Have fun!